My name is Sarah Mitchell. And the night my family held a vote to take away my 7-year-old daughter's bedroom. They smiled like I had no power stopping them. Flushed heartbreak. My mother raised her hand first. My brother laughed. Even my older sister told my little girl, "Big families make sacrifices." Meanwhile my daughter Emma sat clutching her teddy bear crying softly while strangers discussed giving her room away like she didn't matter. But what nobody sitting around that dinner table remembered was one tiny detail hidden inside the house paperwork. Because while they treated me like the weakest person in the family, I was the legal owner of the entire house. And 30 minutes later, the same relatives trying stealing my daughter's room stood outside in the rain holding suitcases. My name is Sarah Mitchell. I became a widow at 32 after my husband Daniel died from pancreatic cancer. Watching someone you love disappear slowly changes you permanently. Especially when you're left raising a grieving child afterward. My daughter Emma was only 7 when we lost him. For months she slept hugging one of Daniel's old sweaters because it still smelled like him. Every night she whispered, "I don't want forgetting Daddy." And honestly, neither did I. After Daniel's death, financial pressure hit quickly. Medical bills, school expenses, mortgage payments, everything became overwhelming. That's when my family suddenly became supportive. My parents offered helping temporarily by moving into the large family house Daniel inherited from his grandparents years earlier. The house was beautiful, big white colonial-style home outside Nashville, Tennessee. 5 bedrooms, huge backyard, warm memories everywhere. Legally, the property transferred fully to me after Daniel died. But my family constantly acted like they were saving me simply by staying there. At first I appreciated the help genuinely. Mom cooked occasionally. Dad handled small repairs. My brother Kyle helped with yard work sometimes. But slowly, their behavior changed, especially after they realized how emotionally exhausted I was. Mom started making household decisions without asking. Dad criticized parenting choices constantly. Kyle invited friends over like the house belonged to him. And my older sister Melissa practically treated Emma like an inconvenience. One afternoon Emma accidentally spilled paint during an art project. Melissa rolled her eyes and muttered, "This child cries and makes messes constantly." I immediately defended my daughter. But deep down, I noticed something disturbing. My family viewed Emma and me less like grieving people needing support, and more like weak people easy controlling. Still, I tolerated things longer than I should have. Because grief makes boundaries difficult sometimes. Especially when you fear losing the last connection to family. Then Melissa announced she was getting divorced. Suddenly she needed a place staying, temporarily, with her teenage twin sons. Mom immediately volunteered my house without even asking me first. Within 2 weeks, the home became chaos. Noise constantly, arguments, crowded bathrooms, zero privacy. Emma struggled most. Her bedroom became her safe space after Daniel died. Soft pink walls, bookshelves, drawings of her dad. That room helped her feel emotionally secure. Then came the family meeting. God, I'll never forget it. One Sunday evening, Mom asked everyone gathering around the dining table because they needed discussing space arrangements. The second I heard those words, my stomach tightened. Melissa sighed dramatically. "The boys need more room." Kyle nodded immediately. Dad agreed too. Then Mom looked directly at Emma's bedroom hallway and casually said, "Maybe Emma can share your room for a while." Emma froze, instantly beside me. I stared at them in disbelief. "What?" Melissa crossed her arms. "My sons are older. They deserve privacy." Emma whispered softly, "But I like my room." Mom immediately snapped, "Stop being selfish." Selfish. My 7-year-old grieving daughter was selfish for wanting keeping her bedroom. Then unbelievably, they started voting. Actual voting. Dad raised his hand first supporting Melissa. Kyle followed laughing casually. Mom voted immediately too. Melissa smiled smugly. 4 against 1. Meanwhile Emma sat trembling beside me clutching her stuffed rabbit. Then Melissa looked directly at her and said, "Big girls make sacrifices." That sentence broke something inside me completely. Because suddenly I realized, these people didn't love my daughter. Not truly. Anyone capable of emotionally cornering a grieving child for convenience already failed the test of family. Emma burst into tears quietly. And my mother. She actually looked annoyed by it. Then Mom said the sentence pushing me over the edge. Majority rules in this house. Silence. Absolute silence. Because for 1 second, I almost laughed. Not from humor. Disbelief. I slowly stood up from the table. Then calmly asked, "Whose house?" Mom frowned immediately. "What?" I walked toward the kitchen drawer and pulled out the property folder Daniel kept secured after his death. Then I placed ownership documents directly onto the dining table, right in front of everyone. The room went completely silent. Dad grabbed the papers first. His face lost color instantly. Because there it was clearly. Sole property owner, Sarah Mitchell. No shared ownership. No family authority. Mine. Completely mine. I looked directly at my mother and repeated slowly, "Whose house?" Nobody answered. Emma stared at me wide-eyed through tears. Then Melissa scoffed awkwardly. "We're family. Why are you acting like this?" Acting like what? A mother protecting her child. I finally said what should have been said months earlier. This house became yours to live in temporarily. Not yours to control. Mom immediately became defensive. "After everything we've done for you." "No," I interrupted sharply. "You helped because my husband died. That didn't make you owners." Then I looked directly at Melissa. "You will never bully my daughter out of her safe place again." Emma started crying harder hearing that. But this time, relief tears, not fear. Dad attempted calming everyone down awkwardly. But honestly, I was done. Years of grief, emotional exhaustion, and manipulation suddenly became crystal clear. My family mistook kindness for weakness. And they mistook my silence for permission. Then Mom made one final mistake. She muttered under her breath, "Daniel wouldn't approve of this behavior." That sentence ignited fury inside me instantly. Because nobody loved Emma more than Daniel did. Nobody. I stepped closer and answered coldly, "Daniel would never allow anyone hurting his daughter." Silence swallowed the room again. Then calmly, very calmly, I gave them 30 days to move out. Melissa exploded immediately screaming I was cruel. Kyle called me dramatic. Mom started fake crying. Dad begged compromise. But honestly, for the first time since Daniel's death, I felt strong again. Because protecting my daughter mattered more than keeping toxic peace. The next month became ugly. Passive-aggressive comments. Cold silence. Family guilt trips. But I never changed my decision. And eventually, they left. The day Melissa moved out, Emma quietly asked, "Am I keeping my room forever?" I knelt beside her and kissed her forehead. "Yes, baby, forever." She smiled wider than I'd seen in months. And that moment alone made every conflict worth it. After my family left, the house became peaceful again. Quiet movie nights. Pancake mornings. Art projects without criticism. Slowly Emma started laughing more. Sleeping better. Healing. And honestly, so did I. Several months later, Dad visited alone privately. He admitted something painful. "We got too comfortable forgetting this was your home." I nodded quietly, because that was true. But deeper than that, they forgot Emma was a child deserving emotional safety too. Today Emma is 10 years old. Her room still has pink walls. Still full of drawings. Still safe. And every night before bed, she tells me, "This house feels happy again." That sentence means more to me than anyone will ever understand. Because homes are not measured by square footage or ownership papers. They're measured by whether children feel protected inside them. And no child should ever feel voted out of safety by the people claiming to love them. Children deserve emotional safety, stability, and respect, especially during grief and difficult life changes. Family support should never become control, manipulation, or entitlement. And sometimes protecting your peace means setting boundaries even with relatives. Real family helps without taking ownership of your life in return. If this story touched your heart, thumbs up, like this video. Bell, subscribe for more emotional stories. Speech balloon, comment below. Would you kick family members out for treating your child unfairly? Flushed heart break.